राजाधिराजाभिपूज्यं रम्यशृङ्गाद्रिवासैकलोलं यतीड्यं राकेन्दुसङ्काशवक्त्रं रत्नगर्भे भवक्त्राङ्घ्रिपूजानुरक्तं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यवर्यं श्रीभारतीतीर्थगीतं शङ्करार्यस्तवय्यः पठेद्भक्तियुक्तः सोऽवाप्नुयात् सर्वमिष्टं शङ्कराचार्यवर्यप्रसादेन तूर्णं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यवर्यं सर्वलोकैकवन्द्यं भजे देशिकेन्द्रं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यवर्यं सर्वलोकैकवन्द्यं भजे देशिकेन्द्रं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यवर्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यवर्यम् सदा बालरूपापि विघ्नाद्रिहन्त्री महादन्ति वक्त्रापि पञ्चास्य मान्या विधीन्द्रादिमृग्या गणेशाभिधामे विधत्तां श्रियं कापि कल्याणमूर्तिः परात्मानमेकं जगद्बीजमाद्यं निरीहन्निराकारमोङ्कारवेद्यं यतो जायते पाल्यते येन विश्वं तमीशं भजे लीयते यत्र विश्वम् लपन्नच्युतानन्त गोविन्द विष्णु मुरारे हरे नाथ नारायणेति यथानुस्मरिष्यामि भक्त्या भवन्तं तथा मे दयाशील देव प्रसीद जगज्जालमेतत्त्वयैवाम्ब सृष्टं त्वमेवाद्ययासीन्द्रियैरर्थजालं त्वमेकैव कर्त्री त्वमेकैव भोक्त्री न मे पुण्यपापे न मे बन्धमोक्षौ न मे पुण्यपापे न मे बन्धमोक्षौ मुदाकरेण पुस्तकं दधानमीशरूपिणं तथा परेण मुद्रिकां नमत्तमो विनाशिनीं मुदाकरेण पुस्तकं दधानमीशरूपिणं तथा परेण मुद्रिकां नमत्तमो विनाशिनीं कुसुम्भवाससावृतं विभूतिभासि हालकं नताघना शङ्कराभिधम् स्वबाल्य एव निर्भरं यात्मनो दयालुतां दरिद्रविप्रमन्दिरे सुवर्णवृष्टिमानयन् प्रदर्श्य विस्मयाम्बुधौ न्यमज्जयत्समान् जनान् स एव शङ्करः सदा जगद्गुरुर्गतिर्मम स एव शङ्करः सदा जगद्गुरुर्गतिर्मम यदीय पुण्यजन्मना प्रसिद्धिमापकालटी यदीय शिष्यतां व्रजन् स तोटकोऽपि पप्रथे य एव सर्वदेहिनां विमुक्तिमार्गदर्शको नराकृतिं सदा शिवं तमाश्रयामि सद्गुरुं नराकृतिं सदा शिवं तमाश्रयामि सद्गुरुम् सनातनस्य वर्त्मनः सदैव पालनाय यः चतुर्दिशासु सन्मठान् चकार लोकविश्रुतान् विभाण्डकात्मजाश्रमादि सुस्थलेषु पावनान् तमेव लोकशङ्करं नमामि शङ्करं गुरुं तमेव लोकशङ्करं नमामि शङ्करं गुरुम् यदीयहस्तवारिजात सुप्रतिष्ठिता सदी प्रसिद्धशृङ्गभूधरे सदा प्रशान्तिभासुरे स्वभक्तपालनव्रता विराजते हि शारदा स शङ्कर कृपानिधिः करोतु माम् अनेन इमं स्तवं जगद्गुरोर्गुणानुवर्णनात्मकं समादरेण यः पठेदनन्य भक्तिसंयुतः समाप्नुयात् समीहितं मनोरथं नरोचिरात्तयानिधे स शङ्करस्य सद्गुरोः प्रसादतः विदिताखिलशास्त्रसुधा जलधे महितोपनिषत् कथितार्थ निधे हृदये कलये विमलं चरणं भव शङ्करदेशिक मे शरणं करुणावरुणालय पालय मां भवसागरदुःख विदूनहृदं रचयाखिलदर्शनतत्त्वविदं भव शङ्करदेशिक मे शरणं भवता जनता सुहिता भविता जय भगवन् जय शङ्कर विद्याकल्पतरो निर्मथितश्रुतिसागर जय जय भुवनगुरो जय देव जय देव जय भगवन् जय शङ्कर विद्याकल्पतरो निर्मथितश्रुतिसागर जय जय भुवनगुरो जय देव जय देव धर्मस्थापन हेतो लीलातनुधारिन् अद्वैतामृतवृष्ट्या जडजीवोद्धारिन् जय देव जय देव जय भगवन् जय शङ्कर विद्याकल्पतरो निर्मथितश्रुतिसागर जय जय भुवनगुरो जय देव जय देव श्रुतिशिरसस्तत्त्वानामेकस्त्वं वेत्त परपक्षाणां पविरिव विदितस्त्वं भेत्त भाष्यामृतपुष्ट कोनुजनः खेता जय देव जय देव जय भगवन् जय शङ्कर विद्याकल्पतरो निर्मथितश्रुतिसागर जय जय भुवनगुरो जय देव जय देव शारदयापि नुतं त्वां स्तोतुमलं कोऽहं वर्षय मे त्वसमञ्जसमक्षरसन्दोहं स्पर्शमणे स्वर्णी श्रवणादप्यनघामिह बुद्धिं विन्दे मत्वन्मार्गाश्रयणात् पुण्यर्थिं देहि गुरो करुणाघन निःश्रेयससिद्धिं जय देव जय देव जय भगवन् जय शङ्कर विद्याकल्पतरो निर्मथितश्रुतिसागर जय जय भुवनगुरो जय देव जय देव निर्मथितश्रुतिसागर जय जय भुवनगुरो श्रुतिसागर जय जय भुवनगुरो जय देव 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 जय देव
I request Shri P.A. Murali, the administrator Shri Sharada Peetam, say a few things regarding this introduction speech. ಇವತ್ತಿಂದ 7 ದಿನಗಳ ಕಾಲ ಶ್ರೀಮಠದಲ್ಲಿ ಜಗದ್ಗುರು ನಮನ ಎಂಬ ಒಂದು ಸಪ್ತಾಹ ಪ್ರವಚನ ಮಾಲಿಕೆ ನಡೆಯಲಿದೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ನಡೆಸಿಕೊಡುವವರು ಶ್ರೀಮಠದ ಭಕ್ತರು ಗುರುಭಕ್ತಮಣಿ ಶ್ರೀ ಎನ್ ವೆಂಕಟರಾಮ್. ಶ್ರೀ ಗುರುಭಕ್ತಮಣಿ ಶ್ರೀ ಎನ್ ವೆಂಕಟರಾಮನ್, ಅಡಿಷನಲ್ ಸಾಲಿಸಿಟರ್ ಜನರಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸೀನಿಯರ್ ಅಡ್ವೊಕೇಟ್, ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ. Sri N. Venkataraman was born on 26th August 1965 into a family whose Kulaguru is Sringeri Jagadguru. Sri Venkataraman completed law in the year 1989 at Madurai Kamraj University. Having immediately commenced practice, he was designated as senior advocate in 2006 by the Madras High Court. Fondly known as NV among the legal fraternity, his professional practice began in the fields of indirect tax, international taxation. In the last 10 years, he has been doing extensive work in constitutional law. He has been involved in matters of substantial public importance, including Shabrimala, Article 370, CAA, and many. Since 2020, he has been serving the nation as Additional Solicitor General, Supreme Court of India. Additional Solicitor General Sri N. Venkataraman is renowned for his dharmic ventures. Having acquired knowledge in various aspects of Sanatan Dharma, he constantly works towards inspiring the youth to leading the dharmic life and helps them understand the importance of Vedas and Guru Parampara. He has delivered lecture series on the Sringeri Jagadgurus titled Vande Guru Paramparam and on Vedantic work such as Bhagavad Gita, Panchadashi. His talks also include sessions on Srimad Narayaniyam, the famous condensation of the Srimad Bhagavata Puranam. For his unstinted support towards Vedic studies and in particular for having established the Veda Pathshala at Melamangalam near Madurai, Sri N. Venkataraman was blessed with the title Guru Bhakta Mani by the Sringeri Jagadguru Sri Bharati Tirtha Mahasannidhanam during the Sharada Sharannavaratri Mahotsava last year 2023 at Sringeri. On the occasion of Sri Mahasannidhanam's Divya Saptati Mahotsavam, he was blessed with the Jagadguru Sri Bharati Tirtha Puraskara in 2022 at Bengaluru. Additional Solicitor General Sri N. Venkataraman also played a very significant role in ensuring the smooth conduct of the historic Kashmir Yatra of Jagadguru Sri Sri Vijayanagara Bharati Sannidhanam in June 2023. I would like you to give the discourse on Jagadguru Namanam, please, sir. I also request Sri P.A. Murli, sir.
Sadasiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Priyantam Vande Guru Paramparam Bharati Karunapatram Bharati Padabhushanam Bharati Padamarudam Bharati Tirthamashriye Vidyaveniya Sampannam Vedaragam Vivekanam Vande Vedanta Tattvakyam Vijayanagara Bharatim Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. In fact, Guru Bhaktamani Sri N. Venkataraman needs no introduction. What Sri Umeshji did was more a protocol and a formality. Sri Guru Bhaktamani Sri N. Venkataraman is a very ardent devotee of Sri Sringeri Sharada Peetham. For very many decades. He is credited with many discourses on our Jagadgurus. He is also credited with many discourses on Vedantic philosophy. For a person so busy with his official duties as the Additional Solicitor General of India, with extensive travel across the country continuously, I always used to wonder, or even I'm amazed as to how he finds the time to prepare so meticulously for such important discourses. For example, this program, I was discussing with him a few months back about this Swarna Bharati Mahotsav, where we are celebrating our Pratyaksha Bhagavan, Sri Mahasannidhanam, over the full year of the 50th year of his sannyasa svikara. I was discussing with him as to what can we do in a unique way. I mean, the Swarna Bharati Mahotsav is happening through various dharmic and social programs. But I was discussing with him, what can we do in a unique manner during this period? And the concept of a Saptaham on Mahasannidhanam came from him. I was so impressed with the suggestion that I placed it at the lotus feet of Jagadguru Sri Sannidhanam, who showered his benign blessings on the concept and in fact handheld him through his preparations for this talk over the next 7 days. Why I say is, to talk about our Jagadgurus, one cannot take it lightly. It requires enormous preparation. And for this event, his preparation started in early May, as I understand. And I also understand that he has got about 320 pages of notes collected from various sources, about which he will explain, I'm sure. That shows his absolute reverence towards our Pratyaksha Bhavan, Sri Mahasannidhanam. And during this, 7 days, I'm sure we will be enlightened about our Jagadguru in many ways which we are not aware of, and about our Jagadguru's invaluable contribution to the welfare of humanity and the learnings that we can take from our Jagadguru's life and Upadesas. Sri N. Venkataraman no doubt has a very huge following. Every discourse of his and his post reaches on an average 60 to 70,000 people. That's the following that he has. And I'm very glad that there couldn't have been a better person to have been chosen to speak on our own Pratyaksha Bhavan, Sri Mahasannidhanam, as a Saptaham. Over to Sri N. Venkataraman.
माला सुधा कुंभ विबोध मुद्रा विद्याविराजत करवारिजाता अपार कारुण्य सुधांबुराशिं श्री शारदांबां प्रणतोस्मि नित्यं शंकारूपेण वर्चित्तं पंकीकृतमबूद्यया किंकरीयस्य सामाया शंकराचार्यमाश्रये प्रह्लादवरदो देवो यो नृसिंहः परो हरिः नृसिंहोपासकं नित्यं तं नृसिंहगुरुं भजे श्री सच्चिदानंद शिवाभिनव्यनृसिंह भारत्यपितान् यतीन्द्रान् विद्यानितीन् मन्त्रनितीन् सदात्मनिष्ठान् भजे मानवशम्भुरूपान् सदात्मध्याननिरतं विषयेभ्यः परान्मुखं नौमि शास्त्रेषु निष्णातं चन्द्रशेखरभारतीं विवेकिनं महाप्रज्ञं धैर्योदारक्षमानिधिं सदाभिनवपूर्वं तं विद्यातीर्थगुरुं भजे भारती करुणापात्रं भारती पदभूषणं भारती पदमारूढं भारती तीर्थमाश्रये विद्याविनयसम्पन्नं वीतरागं विवेकिनं वन्दे वेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञं विदुशेखरभारती. Offer this Saptaham Jagadguru Namanam at the lotus feet of Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam Jagadguru Srimad Abhinava Vidyatita Mahaswamigal, our revered Mahasannidhanam Jagadguru Shri Shri Bharati Tirtha Mahaswamigal and our revered Sannidhanam Jagadguru Shri Shri Vijayanagara Bharati Mahaswamigal. Punya Bhumi Sringeri, Punya Kshetram Sringeri is where all of us are blessed to be present physically here. For a few seconds, we should actually contemplate what sort of a place are we now sitting, either talking or listening to the divine life of one of the Mahapurushas of this Peetam. We are all in Pravachana Mandram, historically endowed with purity and spiritual serenity, engulfed over centuries by great Mahapurushas, tapasvis in the form of Acharyas, their Anugraha Bhashanams, their pujas, the Vedic chanting that happens year on year during Shankara Jayanti, the various Mahotsavam that takes place in this very holy place, and the various lectures that happen throughout this year. It is in this serene background and a place filled with, endowed with spiritual effulgence, all of us here are blessed to be here for one full week, and this can happen only through the pure divine grace of Acharyas and nobody else. So, as we progress, let's bear this aspect in our mind. This very place and its 7 days of time, by sheer being here, will effect a lot of transformatory changes in all of us. Why is this called Punya Bhumi or Punya Kshetram Sringeri? Is the question that we need to first address. This is a Punya Kshetram not because of few years, not because of few centuries. It has remained and it shall remain a Punya Kshetram, and its lineage is traceable to the Treta Yuga, the second Yuga in succession. So, this place, serenity, goes back 3 yugas. More importantly, Sringeri is endowed and engulfed with 2 unique paramparas of tapasvis. It is endowed with a Maharshi parampara and also a Avichinna Guru parampara starting from Shankara Bhagavad Pada. When Vasishta Maharishi advised and guided Dasharatha Maharaja that he should perform a Putra Kameshti Yagam on the banks of river Sarayu for him to get a male progeny, Maharishi advised, there is only one person in this universe who can perform this yaga for you, which alone will benefit you with a male progeny. And who is that one unique Mahapurusha? It's none other than our Rishyashinga Maharishi. And who is Rishyashinga Maharishi? The son of Vibhandaka Maharishi and the grandson of the divine Mahapurusha Kashyapa Maharishi, one of the Saptarishis. That's why Sringeri Kshetram has a beautiful connect with Kashmir. Kashyapa Maharishi is, the name Kashmir is named because of Kashyapa Maharishi's domain. Sringeri and Ayodhya. Two Maharishis have done enormous tapas in this place even during the Treta Yuga. The father, the divine father and the divine son, Vibhandaka Maharishi and Rishyashinga Maharishi. One may wonder, why did Vasishtha Maharishi choose Rishyashinga Maharishi to perform this yaga at Ayodhya on the banks of river Sarayu? It was not performed anywhere else. It was performed only at the banks of Sarayu, says and documents Valmiki Ramayanam. Why did he choose? He chose because Rishyashinga Maharishi's purity enhanced for two good reasons. The tapas of his divine father, Vibhandaka Maharishi, and the prayers offered to Lord Malahanikareshwara, situated in the Ishwaragiri. These are the two reasons why this is considered to be so sacred and so important and vital. When Bhagavatpada Shankara visited this place, yes, in his 32 years, this is one place the divine footprints of Acharya has occurred thrice. When he visited Sringeri, the first sight Bhagavatpada Shankara sees is a cobra raising its hood, protecting its own foe, a frog, from the scorching heat of the sun. This is something which is known to everybody. But what may not be known is, how is this possible? Because, see, we are now talking in 2024. A modern mind will just not believe only in history. It would probe and ask questions. So, you are saying something 1250 years back and we have not seen it. So, you want us to believe it. So, please justify with some valid reasoning that a friend and a foe, like a snake and a cobra, can live in coexistence, can live in harmony in one place. Very valid question. If some child asks this, we should be able to answer it. This is the answer which Bhagavatpada Shankara conveys to all of us and for the generations to come. Patanjali Maharishi, in his Yoga Sutra, have portrayed a particular consequence. Says Maharishi, one who performs the Ashtanga Yoga to perfection, which includes ahimsa, the place where it gets performed will be so pure and serene that friends and foes can coexist. There is a sutra to support this. It's not just a snake and frog story. And who is Patanjali Maharishi? And what was his next avatara? It is Patanjala Maharishi who comes back again to bless us as Govinda Bhagavatpada, the Guru of Shankara Bhagavatpada. And therefore, Bhagavatpada Shankara could immediately connect that this is nothing but a Punyakshetram Sringeri, and therefore this is the place where we should establish the first of the 4 Amnaya mutts. And the Matamnaya Mahasannidhanam of Bhagavatpada Shankara, when it refers to Mata Sharada, it also refers to Lord Malahanikareshwara of Ishwaragiri. It's documented. The next, having talked about the place, we need to also cover 2 important aspects, Tunga and Malahanikareshwara. This Jivanadi Tungabhadra, which we call it as Tunga, because there is a doubt in the minds of many. You call it as Tunga, and there is another river called Bhadra, and the confluence is somewhere else as Tungabhadra. And the yoga, when you read the Bridhavali, cite the Bridhavali day in and day out, it says Tungabhadra Tiravasi. Sri Sannidhanam has given a wonderful explanation for this in one of his Anugraha Bhashanas. The source of Tunga is traceable to Varaha Murti and Varaha Avatara. It's the divine sweat of Mahavishnu which comes out, emits out, and flows flawlessly as Tunga and as Bhadra. Why? It is the same source coming from the same divine body of Mahavishnu, but comes through 2 beings of the Avatara Varaha. Source is the same, comes through 2 beings. And therefore it is called Tunga and Bhadra. They are sisters. Tunga is Bhadra, Bhadra is Tunga. And there is no difference. And Tungabhadra Mahatmyam records the fact that Vibhandaga Maharishi sat in a penance or a tapas, uninterrupted tapas for 300 long years. And how was he blessed? He was blessed by the emergence or the occurrence of a Swayambhu Shivalinga, which is the celebrated Malahanikareshwara. And that's why Bhagavatpada in the Matamniya Mahasannidhanam refers both to Mata Sharada and also Lord Malahanikareshwara. And therefore, before we step in to talk about this Guru Parampara, we must know the era of importance of Sringeri. Sringeri has been in the spiritual map since the Treta Yuga, not today or yesterday. So one must be blessed to visit this shrine, this place. What was named as Rishya Sringeri, now over a period of time has colloquially been started to be addressed as Sringeri. This is the very terrain. It had a divine Maharishi Parampara, and Bhagavatpada Shankara took it over as a Veda. And understanding the purity and serenity of this place, decided this to be an epicenter for the propagation of Sanatana Dharma in Kali Yuga. And thus, established the first of the four Amnaya Peetams. We should now therefore understand a few things about Shankara Bhagavatpada. It is difficult to comprehend or communicate in few sentences or few minutes about Bhagavatpada Shankara. It's not possible. It's like trying to contain an ocean in one's palm. Bhagavatpada can do it, but we can't do it. But Sri Mahasannidhanam has simplified the task for all of us. He says, Acharya says, understanding your difficulty, you may not be able to read all the works of Bhagavatpada. Please show your sense of indebtedness and gratitude by reciting the Ashtottaram of Shankara Bhagavatpada every day. The least in Advaita Sishya, a Sanatani and an Advaita Sishya, the least. And guides us in his Anugraha Bhashanam for a modern mind which wants, we want to know whatever we want to know it crisp. Don't be so elaborate. We should understand everything in few minutes. But we should understand everything. Details cannot be missed. So it's condensed version, that is what a modern mind looks for. And therefore, Sri Mahasannidhanam out of Karunyam delivers an Anugraha Bhashanam on the Ashtottaram of Bhagavatpada Shankara and explains a few very, very vital core essentials of what constitutes Bhagavatpada Shankara. One-line answers for anyone and everyone to know. Short summary of Shankara Bhagavatpada. So the first question is, who is Shankara Bhagavatpada? Natural. That's how we have to start somewhere. So Acharya says, he is the one who expounded Advaita philosophy. That's a very, very important information, because for us, anyone can easily mistake as though Bhagavatpada actually invented or created Advaita. It's a popular misconception. Acharya says, no. Advaita Tattva is there in the Shruti itself. Brahman alone is Satyam. Bhagavatpada only expounded it, revived it to the world for its proper sustenance. What is the purpose of this avatara? Acharya says, twin purposes for the divine birth of Bhagavatpada Shankara. One is expounding the Advaita Tattva to the world, reinventing a renaissance on Advaita. And the second most important aspect is, what needs to be understood is, he revitalized the sannyasa dharma to the world, the royal path towards salvation. The birth is for these two important purposes. What did Bhagavatpada Shankara do to the common man? Was he a guru only for mumukshus? Or did he cater to the needs of the common man? Sri Mahasannidhanam, after referring to the Ashtotram, says, look here, whatever Bhagavad Gita says, Lord Krishna says, Acharya has followed that. He has brought into his fold all the four types of Sishyas. Bhagavad Gita says, devotees can be broadly classified into four. People who suffer and want relief from their pain. People who want to be very wealthy and happy. Sishyas who want to know intellectually who God is. And the last, Sishyas who just surrender to me to attain me. The difference between the first three and the last one is the first three, God is only a means and not the end. Whereas in the fourth category, means and the ends are one and the same. It's just attaining God. That's the only difference. So Bhagavad-pada Shankara ensured that every Sishya falling in any one of the four categories gets a guidance, and he steps into and walks into the right path of Sanatana Dharma. When Acharya came to Sringeri and decided to establish a Peetham here, at which time he was to leave and go to Kalati, Acharya chose Jagadguru Srimad Sureshwaracharya Mahaswamigal as our Prathama Pitadipati of the Sringeri. There is no difference amongst the Shishyas of Shankara Bhagavad-pada. But Shri Mahasannidhanam, in one of his lectures, while portraying about the four Acharyas of Shankara, the disciples, says, in the case of Padmapada Acharya, in the case of Totakacharya, in the case of Hastamalakacharya, all the three of them went to Bhagavad-pada Shankara, surrendered and evolved as disciples and later as Pitadipatis. The only exception is Sureshwaracharya, where Shankara reached out to him, sat on a debate, won over him, brought him to his fold, made him to follow, and established him as the first Pitadipati or the first of the four Amnayamats. It is such a Guru who has been given to us 1230 years ago by Adi Shankara. Shankara did not just nominate one Pitadipati and then left for Kalati to attend to his mother. Clear instructions were given, clear guidance were drawn, which guidance is followed even today in Sringeri Sharada Peetham. And that's the difference. Consistent, uniform following. If somebody wants to describe Sringeri Mutt in one sentence, can you describe Sringeri Mutt, who you say is an Avichinna Parampara, uninterrupted Guru lineage of 1230 years? How is it possible? Satya, Dharma, Tapas. Simple. Anything you do through these three filters will sustain uniformity, will sustain continuity, will never suffer an interruption, because what is Satya yesterday is Satya today. What is Satya today will be Satya tomorrow. There will be no change. There is no change in Satya, Dharma or Tapas. So, when somebody follows the unchanging, how can you expect what is being followed will change? It won't change. And therefore, Shankara Bhagavad-pada gave such a mandate to Sureshwaracharya. How this Peetham started. And said, every Pitadipati of this parampara has dual roles to play. When it comes to their self, it is their filial obligation to preserve and maintain their sannyasa dharmam, parivrajaka dharmam. You can't move away from that. So their personal profile will always be a sannyasa dharmam. Can never be anything else. But there is a public profile which is mandated, which is thrusted on this Acharyas of this Peetham. That is why we also address them as Peethatipatis. What is that public profile? It's not enough if you preserve and you discharge your duties as a sannyasi. You have an obligation to connect with the society and revitalize, propagate, perpetuate, practice, show, demonstrate to people what Sanatana Dharma is all about. So that was the second duty cast on this Peetham. And how did Shankaracharya connected both? In one Peethatipati, he offered to Sureshwaracharya before leaving to Kalati a Ratna Garbha Ganapati, the ruby Mahaganapati, which if you see the night puja every day, puja is performed first to Ratna Garbha Ganapati by every Acharya of this Peetham. And the second Vigraha, divine Vigraha, is this Patikalinga, Lord Chandramoulishwara. So, the connecting dharma between a sannyasa dharma, which is the ashrama dharma, and a Peethatipati dharma, which is obligated, mandated by Shankaracharya, the meeting point is Ratnagarbha Ganapati, Lord Chandramoulishwara, and Mata Sharada. As we progress in this Saptakam, you will know the kind of routines which Acharya has to follow, preserving his sannyasa dharma and the obligation as a Peethatipati. In fact, I should confess, but for working on this talk, many of the details even I would not have come across and I would not have known it at all. So it is even more important that this talk will be a mixture of experiences, mixture of various events and occurrences, and also a lot of data. We cannot miss them because this being a Saptakam. And it will baffle anybody, is this all, if somebody is not oriented, if somebody has not seen the life of a Mahapurusha for 5 decades, a rank outsider will shun it as said, whatever you say is impossible here. As simple. So how does the impossible become possible? This Saptakam is only about that. And no claims are made, no propaganda is made, no advertisement is made. Just keep performing the duty after duty, discharge it and go to the next work. So, it is in this backdrop, Sureshwaracharya takes over this important Peetham, first of the 4 Amnaya Mutts. So we now need to travel a little further. And before we travel, one last connect which we should make, because every Acharya of this Guru Parampara traces ultimately their roots to Shankara. You cannot see any Acharya diversing themselves from the thought process or the divine current of Bhagavad Pada Shankara. Why? Why should they? Just a short summary of 5 or 6 dates, 6 age dates, will throw open how baffling an avatara he has been. Shankara Bhagavad Pada knew he gained proficiency in all the languages when he was just 1 year old. In his second year, he has mastered all the Kavyas and Puranas. In his 5th year, Upanayam was performed in the absence of his father, who died when Shankara was just 3 years old. Between the 5th and the 7th year, Shankara Bhagavad-pada had mastered Vedas, Vedantas, Veda Angas, and any auxiliary study relating to Vedas. At the age of 8, his life was extended from 8 to 16 by Agastya Muni. And in the 8th year, he gets sannyasa. By 12 years, he completes the commentaries on Prasthanatraya. At the 16th year, his commentaries are validated by Bhagavan Vedavyasa, who extends his life by another 16 more years because he said, this is half done. You have to propagate what you have commented upon. And Bhagavad-pada Shankara has conducted Vijayatra all over this Bharat. Ascends the Sarvajna Peetam, goes to Badri, goes to Kedar, and finally reaches his divine abode at the age of 32. Now bless this. If we don't remember anything else about Bhagavad-pada Shankara, let's at least remember this data. This is the life history of Bhagavad-pada Shankara. And let's commit ourselves to offering as a daily prayer the Ashtotram of Bhagavad-pada Shankara. The least we should do for such a Mahaguru, but for whom, what would have happened to this Bharat is $1 million question. So it is Shankara Bhagavad-pada's divine blessings that Sureshwaracharya became the first Peethadipati. Now let's slowly progress with the few important timelines and what happened and the Peethadipatis at that point of time. So from Sureshwaracharya to the 35th Guru Maharaj, Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam, Jagadguru Srimad Abhinavidhyadita Mahaswamigal, all these 35 Peethadipatis have remained Mahapurushas in the history of Sanatana Dharma. The 7th Acharya in succession is Jagadguru Simhagiri Mahaswamigal, who reigned this Peetham from 1039 to 1098. The reason for referring to Simhagiri Mahaswamigal is Simhagiri is one of the oldest towns of Sringeri. And when Acharyas performed the Kumbhabhishekam to Chaturmurti Vidyeshwara, Pandit Shivakumar read out the various inscriptions available in Sringeri, tracing its history to this Simhagiri, the old town of Sringeri, and its associated reference to the 10th, 11th and the 12th Acharya of Sringeri Sharda. And therefore, we need to refer to the 7th Acharya and its time, which is 1039 to 1098, before we get into the beautiful golden necklace of the Sringeri mutt, the 10th, 11th and the 12th Acharya. (1328) to 1386. 58 golden years. Why do we say golden years? Golden years not only for this Peetham. It will ever remain the golden era of this great nation Bharat, because it was during this period the Vijayanagara Samrajya was established by the great Mahapurusha Vidyaranya Maharaj, the 12th Acharya of this Peetham. And therefore, we need to refer 10, 11 and 12. The 10th Acharya was Mahapurusha Jagadguru Srimad Vidyatirtha Mahaswamigal, The 11th Acharya was Jagadguru Srimad Bharati Krishnatirtha Mahaswamigal, and the 12th Acharya was Jagadguru Srimad Vijayanagara Mahaswamigal. The 11th and the 12th Acharya in the Purvashrama were brothers, own brothers. And the 11th Acharya was the younger brother, and the 12th Acharya was the elder brother. But the 11th Acharya reached Sringeri, the younger brother reached Sringeri first and became the 11th Acharya in 1328. And Vijayanagara Maharaj, the elder one, came to Sringeri in 1331 and became the 12th Pitadipati of this Pitam. 3 years later, though elder in age. Now, the need to refer to the 3 is this. The 10th Acharya, Jagadguru Srimad Vidyatirtha Mahaswamigal, who is seated in the Adhishtanam, which we popularly call the Vijayanagara temple of the Hoshala architecture. It's an Adhishtanam, and it's our firm belief that Acharya continues to be with us, still in state of life. And we'll give you the reason in a minute's time. This Acharya makes a very, very important declaration in the history of Sringeri mutt. What is that declaration? The 10th Acharya says, look here to the 11th Acharya. If great things should happen for public good, for welfare of the nation, for welfare of the society, it should precede intense tapas. You will see the reference to intense tapas constantly in this Pitam by successive Acharyas. We'll cite you the examples. So, Acharya said, therefore the 10th Acharya went into intense tapas. Why? He foresaw and conveyed to the 11th Acharya, time has come for new kingdoms to emerge on the banks of Tungabhadra. It will emerge soon. It will be called as Vijayanagara. It's only in 1380, at the request of Harihara II, Vijayanagara Maharaj renamed it as Vijayanagara Samrajya. It shall remain the Karnataka Simhasana. Said all this and went and sat in Lambika Yoga in this very Vijayanagara temple, the very location, and requested the 11th Acharya to close it, and he will be in penance for 12 years. And after 12 years, on the very same date, very same tithi, very same month, if you open, you will find me as reflective of Chaturmurti Vidyeshwara Vigraham, which is the Vigraham to which Acharya performed Kumbhabhisheka in 2022. He sculpted a Vigraham, showed it to his Sishya Swamigal, the 11th Acharya. I will be like this after 12 years. Let me go into Lambika Yoga. Unfortunately, somebody opened it 3.5 years later, and therefore the 10th Acharya came in the dream of the 11th Acharya, said, you place a Shivalinga over this and do puja. And that's the Shivalinga which is there from the 14th century, the last 7-8 centuries. So, when Vijayanagara Maharaj, see, there is a lot of similarity between Bhagavad-pada Shankara and Vijayanagara Maharaj. The Prasthanatraya Bhashyam of Shankara was validated by Bhagavan Vedavyasa. the Veda Bhashyam of Vidyaranya Maharaj was also validated by Bhagavan Vedavyasa. So please understand, the message is loud and clear. The two important textual principles of Sanatana Dharma, Veda and Vedanta, as expounded by Shankara Bhagavad Pada through the Prasthanatrayam, Brahma Sutra, 10 major Upanishad and Bhagavad Gita, and the Veda Bhashyam as scripted by Vidyaranya Maharaj, both have been validated by Bhagavan Vedavyasa. Mahapurushas and Pitatipatis of this Pitam, these are all the contributions they have made to history and the propagation of Sanatana Dharma. The second similarity, Shankara Bhagavad Padal instituted the 4 Amnaya mutts. Vidyaranya Maharaj created the Vijayanagara Samrajya. And it's Vidyaranya Maharaj who started to bring in the concept of establishing branch mutts. The concept of Sringeri having Sakya mutts or branch mutts across started only during the period of Vidyaranya Maharaj. And the first and the foremost and the most oldest of it is the Kedargat mutt, Kedargat branch mutt in Varanasi. And Sri Sannidhanam in his Anugrah Bhashanams has given a host of lists. What are all the branches which Vijayanagara has established in southern India? So, with these similarities, Bhagavan Vedavyasa directs Maharaj to go to Virupaksha temple and do tapas. Again, what 10th Acharya said. Same direction is given to the 12th. Engage yourself in tapas. He came to the Peetam in 1331. He went to Badrika Ashram to validate his Veda Bhashyam, comes to Virupaksha temple, engages in tapas. At the same time, Harihara, King Harihara lying, he was not king then, Harihara lying on the lap of his brother Bukka gets a dream. There is a sannyasi waiting for you in Virupaksha temple, and he goes and surrenders to him. And Maharaj says, I am waiting for you. And that's the starting point of the creation of Vijayanagara Samrajya in a Sri Chakram form, and the Bindu being the Virupaksha temple. So, after establishing the Peetam empire, then he travels, they come back. It's a huge history. In fact, we have given a 1-hour talk on that 2 years back. It's in the YouTube. 1380, when like the 10th Acharya, the 12th Acharya also appoints the 13th and the 14th, 2 successive Acharyas to the Peetam, allowing the 13th Acharya to travel and the 14th Acharya to remain in Sringeri and do tapas. When Vijayanagara Maharaj leaves Sringeri in 1380 to Virupaksha temple in Vijayanagara Samrajya, where he attains Videhamukti in 1386, gives the following divine directions 8 centuries ago, and it remains intact even today. As you see this Vidyashankara temple, when you see the next time, it is an adhishtanam, you can do a pradakshanam. There is a beautiful description how Vidyaranya Maharaj did the first pradakshanam to this adhishtanam. When he came from Vijayanagara Samrajya to Sringeri, and how he stepped in, how he walked, how he did everything is so beautifully narrated. And you will see, it is known for its scriptural beauty, but 2 identities are irreplaceable in history, which is 800 years old. The identification of Sringeri mutt with Hamsa, which you will see it in replete quantity. And the identification of Sringeri mutt with its own kshetram, which is Rameshwaram. The southeast, if you see the southeast direction of this Vidyashankara temple, there is a clear depiction of a Shivalinga, which is Ramanatha Swami and Sita Mata and Bhagavan Rama performing puja to it. 800 years back, giving the divine connect between. See, in fact, Mahasannidhanam says in one of his talks, see the design of Bhagavad Pada Shankara. He creates the mutts in the east and the west on the seashore, Puri and Dwarka, and creates the mutt on mountain terrains when it comes to north and the south, Badri and Sringeri. Yet, he chooses the Kshetram of Sringeri to be the tip of India at Rameshwaram, peninsular India. That's the divine connect between Sringeri and Rameshwaram, which is unique. So, Vijayanagara Maharaj leaves the following directions to be followed at any cost. 1. You should perform the Utsavam of Vijayanagara temple as an Aradhana, as a 3-day Aradhana. 2. Navaratri Utsavam has to be celebrated in a grand manner as prayed for by the kings of Vijayanagara Samrajya. 3. Every Sishya and devotee who comes to this place should be fed with prasadam. 4. Any amount of prayers, any amount of homas and pujas should be done only for the welfare of the world by the Pidadipatis. And 5. Even though this Pitam preaches and philosophizes Advaita Tattva of Shankara Bhagavad Pada, between the Guru Sishya, the Dvaita Bhavam, that it is, O Guru, you have imparted me this Advaita philosophy, should always exist. The 5 tenets laid out 800 years back continues to be followed even today meticulously by this Peter. So now we travel from the 12th Acharya to the 25th Acharya. 24th and 25th Acharya are the 2 Acharyas who hail from Tamil Nadu. And the 25th Acharya, the 24th Acharya sees him as a Sishya, looking at his courage, looking at his tejas, looking at his vidvat, looking at his shastric knowledge. And Panditas who attended the Sadas, records history, has said 25th Acharya is one more Vijayanagara Maharaj. And he was an expert in Shilpa Shastra. He therefore added to Lord Malahanikareshwara the Bhavani temple. And the Shilpa of Mata Bhavani has a hole in the nose and hole in the ears for people to adorn it with Harajwal. 24th Acharya, maybe 400, 500 years ago. He was a Shilpa Shastra as an expert. He did the Shikara for Vijayanagara temple. And history records, you must also know, this Divya Kshetram is guarded by 4 guardian deities, and they are not mere vigrahas or idols. And this instance will demonstrate they live there as guardian deities to guard Sringeri mutt. Nothing can happen to Sringeri mutt, because it goes on Satya, Dharma and Tapas. When Bhairava, a chieftain, wanted to conquer Sringeri, he fought a few times and lost the battle. Then he brought a huge contingent outnumbering the villages here. So what did the 25th Acharya do? Again, the philosophy taught by Bhagavad Pada Shankara sat into tapas. Only tapas and Mata Sharda can save the situation. Left it there. The 4 deities went and fought the war, records history. And the chieftain loses the war one more time. And it does not stop with that. The deities come to the Acharya and say, see where I have been hurt. History records it. Mata Durga and Mata Kaligambal say, this is where they have cut me, this is where they have hurt me, this is where it's bleeding. Guardian deities are not mere vigrahas here. They really guard us. Now from the 25th Acharya, you travel to the necklace. Second 30, 31 and 32, they form one short necklace. It's an interesting necklace. In fact, the 32nd Acharya should have been the 31st Acharya, historically. But in fact, with Jagadguru Srimad Vidyanasi Bharati Mahaswamigal was born in Sringeri only. He went to Kashi to prove his expertise in Vedas and Shastras. At that time, if you want to prove your skill on Vedas and Shastra, the only place, the befitting place was only Varanasi. So he has gone there and he couldn't return on time. So the 30th Jagadguru Srimad Sachidananda Bharati Mahaswamigal, decided to install the 31st Acharya, Jagadguru Abhinava Sachidananda Bharati Mahaswamigal. And what did he do? He was just waiting for the 32nd Acharya to return. He held the Peetam only for 3 years, 1814 to 1817. See, the longest reign was by the 10th Acharya, 105 years. The shortest reign was by the 30th Acharya, 31st Acharya for 3 years. The moment history records, when 30th Acharya passed on the divine baton to the 31st Acharya, hands it over, the next day attains Videha Mutti. And the 31st Acharya, on seeing the 32nd Acharya's return, hands over the baton and then goes to attains Viveka Mutri in 3-4 days' time. Each one is waiting for the other's arrival. And from the 32nd Acharya's period, several Sishyas like Jnananda Swamigal, Bhashya Swamigal, Shishi Umeshji, several people have assisted and engaged in ensuring history is properly recorded. And the 32nd, each Acharya has his own unique features to show how they are a Mahapurusha. 32nd Acharya conquered hunger. He lived only on pieces of bitter gourd throughout his life. He stayed in the Peetam for 62 years. He conquered virtually sleep. Deva Aradhanam, Chapam, Tapas, Vichara. And 3 important incidents history records. Each one we can't deal it in detail. The incident that happened to the king of Nagpur, the incident that happened at Koti Tirtham, and the incident that happened at the Meenakshi temple. All the 3, when they went against the will of the Acharya, they had to face adverse consequences. And how this is being scripted for us to understand is, Acharyas don't get angry at all. But if we as Sishyas displease a Guru, a Mahapurusha, then the wrath of sin cannot be avoided. History records these 3 instances only to convey the message, because the moment they offered their apologies, everything was restored back to its own glory. Therefore, there is no cudgels. There is no anger. It's a question of understanding the message that if you try to, that is why Mahapurushas remain quiet in spite of people displeasing them. That's the difference between a human conduct and the conduct of a Mahapurusha. They will not react the way we want them, or we understand, or we think, or we should, or we react. They won't. Because displeasing them is your problem and you will earn the wrath of it. They don't have to do anything towards it. But if you apologize, the ocean of compassion will immediately shower the mercy, irrespective of who you are. History of 32nd Acharya records only that benevolence and compassion as what he was. Now we come to the 33rd Acharya, Jagadguru Srimad Sachidananda Shivabhinava Nrsimha Bharati Mahaswamigal. So much of similarity between Bhagavad-pada Shankara, because he is Abhinava Shankara. Shankara attained sannyasa at 8. Acharya attained sannyasa at 8. Shankara was born in Kaladi. Acharya rediscovered Kaladi. Shankara was a saintly poet. Acharya remained a saintly poet. See, this is why we should need to know the history of a Peetam. History is not just facts. The consistency, the uniformity in the pattern, see, it's a historic, divine, monotonous repetition. But when monotonity is coupled with divinity, then it becomes very serene. From our perception, for our understanding. And therefore, 33rd Acharya, but for 33rd Acharya, we would not have rediscovered Kalati. As the very birthplace of Shankara was discovered. But for 33rd Acharya, we would not be celebrating Shankara Jayanti as a 5-day festival. But for the 33rd Acharya and late TKB Iyer, we would not have retrieved the complete works of Bhagavad-pada Shankara with all its authenticity and validation proved. Because it is blessed and validated both by the 33rd Acharya and the 34th Acharya. This is the contribution of the 33rd Acharya. Now we come to the 34th Acharya, Jagadguru Srimad Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal, again born and brought up in Sringeri. We don't have to say who are we to describe when Sri Mahasannidhanam in one of his stutis has portrayed Jagadguru Srimad Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal as a Maharatna amongst the gurus in this Avichinna Parampara. Who else? Who are we? We have to only repeat it. And this is also subsequently shown to this world by naming his Sishya Swamigal as Jagadguru Shri Vijayanagara Bharati Mahaswamigal. And he said that in his Anugraha Bhashanam. I don't want to name him as Srimad Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal because that's my Guru's name. So instead of both resemble only moon, so I'll put it as Vijayanagara Bharati Mahaswamigal. A scion amongst the Jivan Muktas. He showed to the world even 100 years ago, Jivan Mukta is not a textbook theory. He showed it to the world. He displayed it to the world. He lived the life of a Jivan Mukta in spite of being a Pitadipati. Because rest, it's 33rd Acharya is also a Jivan Mukta. 32nd Acharya is also a Jivan Mukta. But they concealed it. Whereas this was a life of revelation. It is this 34th Acharya who has blessed us, Jeshta Mahasannidhanam, the 35th Acharya of this parampara. And before we get into the 35th Acharya, it is very important that this message is also conveyed to Sishyas and devotees. Remember, every adhishtanam of an Acharya is infused with life. It's not that 32nd Acharya is no more with us. They may be no more physically, but not spiritually. Every Acharya, after their Videha Mukti, continues to guide Sishyas, and we will narrate one instance each from the 32nd Acharya onwards, for the Sishyas to understand. When we go and worship before the Adhishtanam, it's not a Vigraha. See the Adhishtanam of Jagadguru Srimad Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal. When we offer our pranams, we should know Mahaswamigal is still there, guiding us. It is with that spirit we should offer our prostrations. Why? Coming to the 32nd Acharya, this was one episode we wrote during one of the Aradhanas in 2019. A Sishya from Madurai had this experience. They came, she, her husband, her brother-in-law and sister-in-law, 4 of them, drove from Madurai to Sringeri, had the darshanam of Acharya, took the mantrakshada in the afternoon, came to this side and they were about to go. They visited the Adhishtanam of Nrsimha Bharati Mahaswamigal. We know that the Pandit are there will normally request people at that time, if Abhishek is going, ask them to wait. That's his nature. So he insisted all the 4 of them to be there till the puja is over. He said, it's not a request, I feel you should stay and go only after the puja is over. They were planning to drive all the way from here to Madurai overnight at a stretch. But still, wisdom prevailed, they stayed back. Puja got over. Holy water was sprinkled on each one of them. Prasadam was given to them. Vibhuti was given to each one of them. And they started late by 2-3 hours behind schedule. And they reached Satyamangalam around 10 p.m. in the night. It's a road where it's very traffic prone. Lorry traffic in the night is so common in that, but it was unusual that it was not so. And the devotee explained to us, we wrote it based on whatever she narrated. So we were just speeding up our car, and car which was running flawlessly all these hours suddenly took a 180-degree U-turn. Crossed lanes, there are only 2 lanes, and started to glide down and was about to hit a big tree, a big bang. And had it happened, all the 4 would have collapsed. It went very close to the tree, and we don't know what stopped it. Suddenly the car stopped few feet before the tree. What is perplexing is, how did this U-turn, a car which was running smooth, why did this U-turn happen? Why should it start gliding down the hill? And when it's all prepared to go and thrash on a tree, who stopped it from it? 32nd Acharya's Adhishtanam, he continues to reside and guide people. Come to the case of the 33rd Acharya. Something very interesting which I should share with all of you. We were blessed in this Swarna Bharati to speak in Coimbatore, in Mysore, in Chennai, and this is the 4th time in this Swarna Bharati which we have been gifted with this blessed opportunity to speak a Saptagam. So, Mysore, when we went to give a talk there, it was Kumbhabhishekam was being performed by Shri Sannidhanam. We were sitting just opposite to the idol of our 33rd, revered 33rd Acharya Jagadguru Srimad Sachidananda Shiva Abhinarsi Bharati Swamigal. In fact, we had prepared the notes for the speech, wanted to narrate the significance of Guru Paduka by narrating the Banaras incident. But our CEO on the previous day has referred it. So I was feeling that we can't repeat it again. So it will be nice if we come to know some incident about Acharya's Padukas and its divinity. Just sitting opposite and just wishing. A young couple with 2 children who were sitting by the side of the speaker suddenly introduced, I'm so-and-so Mr. Joyce, a devotee of Acharya staying in Bangalore. I have been following your writings for several years. I have an incident to share. I said, I'm looking forward, please share. And Joyce explains, his granduncle has the Padukas of the 33rd Acharya in his house. And all his aspiration was, will his granduncle give it for one day for him to do puja in his house and give it back? That was all his desire. So when he approached his maternal uncle, he was so glad. He said, why one day? Have it for 1 week or 10 days. Do the puja and give it to me. No problem. He was delighted. So he secured the holy Padukas and he was traveling to his house. He was crossing the Sringeri mutt at Shankarapuram. It was his desire that we should go and also circumambulate Bhagavad-pada Shankara and Mata Sharada and take it home. But it was 12:31, it was locked. So he felt, okay, when we at least return, let us do that. He takes it home. He starts to perform puja. His friends give a call to him. on the 5th day or 6th day, don't remember exactly, and said, look here, we have got a permit to go to the forest near Kigga, where the 33rd Acharya has conducted a penance, has tapas, and all of you know, every Acharya goes there. The rock structure to which penance, sitting before it, penance was done by the 33rd Acharya, turned and spilled itself as a Narasimha. You'll see a Narasimha avatara on the rock. Nobody sculpted it. Sheer tapas arose Narasimha there. So, we have got a permission to go there. Can you come? He said, no, the Aradhana of 33rd Acharya is happening. I want to perform it in my house. I can't carry it in a bus. Therefore, I am declining. No, we are going in a car. Why don't you join? So, he takes the Padukas in the car, goes to Kigga forest, performs the Aradhana, the Padukas of the 33rd Acharya at that holy site. Completes the puja, brings the Padukas the same day when Aradhana is going in Sringeri, progressing in Sringeri, meets Krishnamurtigal, hands it over. Krishnamurti was kind enough to receive the Padukas, place it, and Mahasannidhanam blessed it. A man's simple desire to have a Paduka puja one day in his house. The burning desire, a genuine desire, how it gets gifted in one's life. So, it is not a mere adhishtanam of the 33rd Acharya of an idol or a vigraha. It is life. And this incident happened not necessarily in the adhishtanam. It happened in the Mysore temple, where there is a vigraha of the 33rd Acharya, to which Kumbhabhishekam was performed by Sri Sannidhanam in April. Now come to the 34th Acharya. A young boy, when Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam visited our mother's village in Melmangalam, a few months old child, it suddenly clasped the hands of Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam when in a house visit. See, Acharya visited the house of a Jatavallabar. He is a tapasvi in his own strength and merit. This child is his grandchild. It suddenly clips two of its fingers of Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam, and Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam did not allow it. A sparsa diksha of such a Mahapurusha on a few months old child, how it germinates later. The parents moved from places to places, and the boy was excelling so good in his studies. He went to US. He did his masters. One fine day, Jagadguru Srimad Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswami came in his dream and said, go to Sringeri. He left, came to Sri Mahasannidhanam. He had a doubt whether this is just a dream or in reality. Sri Mahasannidhanam confirmed this is not a dream. Acharya had appeared and this is a divine command. You stay with me. And he is there serving this mutt for the last 30 years. Come to the 35th Acharya. I will first narrate 35th Acharya and give this incident if required. So, the experiences of all these are recorded. And when it comes to the 33rd Acharya, speaker takes the personal responsibility. Speaker heard it through his own ears at the shrine of our 33rd Acharya in the Mysore temple on 5th April 2024. See, the life history of the 35th Acharya requires not a saptaham, but a navaham. It's that wide and vast. And whatever little we could condense, we have condensed it in the 5th talk of Vande Guru Paramparam in about 1.5 hours. Now we'll condense it to 10 minutes. But all of you, if you want to know something about Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam properly, you should read the text of Shri Umeshji, authored in the multifaceted Jivan Mukta book, the encyclopedia of Mahasannidhanam's life and teachings. It has everything in it. So, how did 34th Acharya choose Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam? In fact, our Mahasannidhanam has repeatedly said, Acharya did not choose me based on horoscope. I did not choose Sannidhanam based on horoscope. Because we believe in qualities. So there's an interesting narration about the 35th Acharya. 34th Acharya casted one horoscope and said, there is one boy whose horoscope will suit not for qualifying himself as a Pitadipati, only for the purpose of identification. Take this horoscope, the boy who matches with this, bring him here. That's how Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam came to Sringeri. And astrologers predicted he has a very short life. And still he was made Pitadipati. That's why Sri Mahasannidhanam says, we don't believe that way. We take people based on their abilities. And Mata Sharada alone directs. We don't choose successors. Mata Sharada guides us and we choose them based on her guidance. So, but Josham is also part of Shastra. How do you get over it? 34th Acharya gets over it so beautifully on the date of Sushya Jagadguru Srimad Chandrasekhar Bhati Mahaswamigal loudly calls, "Oh, long live Swamin, come in," as he is invited into the ashrama. The power of a Mahapurusha's words is, what they utter is Satya, or whatever they utter will become Satya. Because Satya dances on their tongue. And Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam lived for 73 years. And held the Peetam after becoming a Jivan Mukta at 18 till 73rd year for 55 years. That is history. Nobody can dispute it. So, because we have to close by 6, I'll just put it in a very short campus. But preferable you all read that book, Multifaceted Jivan Mukta. If not, volume 5 of the video in Vande Guru Param, where it has been narrated in full detail. See, these are the time charts which is very important in the life of Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam. Born on 13th November 1917. Had the Upanayanam in 1930. Susishikaram on 22nd May 1931. One long week, 22nd May to 28th May 1931, significant week in the life history of Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam. Lord Shiva appeared for 7 long days in his dreams and taught Hatha Yoga. And the second important week in his life is 5th December to 12th December 1935. On 12th December 1935, in the evening, he attains the blissful state of Jivan Mukta. On 16th and 1954, Pitarohanam is done. And on 21st September 1989, he attains Videha Mukti. What is important for listeners is, this is again one Acharya whose life history reveals what this Peetam's Talparyam, what this Peetam seeks to serve, and how a senior Jagadguru prepares his Sishya Swamigal to hold this throne of transcendental wisdom in absolute purity and serenity. For that sake, you should read this book. Broadly speaking, he obtained Sishya Swikara in May 1931. and becomes a Jivan Mukta at the age of 18 in December 1935. 4.5 years, 54 months. How did this transition happen? Step 1. Mata Sharada on 21st May 1931 appears in his dream, one day before Sishya Svikara, and says, places him on her lap, guides him, follow your Guru. Kings and noble people will come and surrender before you. Most important instruction. This instruction is pregnant with meaning. Don't lose yourself. For a common man, it is so easy to misunderstand. Oh, Mata Sharada is uttering a caution to her. Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam, don't lose yourself. This don't lose yourself has enormous significance, which we'll reveal it in the next 6-7 minutes. Why did Mata Sharada say that to Acharya? So step 1. Step 2. From 22nd May 1931 to 28th May 1931, 7 days, Lord Shiva appears in 7 consecutive dreams and imparts the entire knowledge on yoga to Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam. He narrates the book. You should read the book. He gets into such a cool terrain. Out sprouts a linga, Shiva linga, water, divine water pouring on it, with Rudram chanting, and out comes Bhagavan Shiva, white in color, matted locks. Gracefully sees Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam. The sheer look, Mahasannidhanam starts to chant pranava automatically and says, I did this with effort for 1 year. After that, 24/7, I was always in pranava. The initiation by Bhagavan Shiva. And you must understand the yogic postures that was taught. Everything is captured in the book. Just to explain one yogic posture. He displayed this to Shri Umeshji. When he displayed it, actually Acharya looked like he is made out of elastic rubber and not out of bones. One of the postures which he displayed, which was taught by Lord Shiva. So, yoga is taught by Lord Shiva. From Hatha Yoga, the 34th Acharya trains him to become a Karma Yogi. Places his divine hand on the forehead of Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam and initiates in Narsimha Mantra. The moment he initiates, Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam sees Narsimha before him. Offers the puja. Takes a huge plate studded with jewels and ruby. Puts the best of food and feeds Bhagavan Narsimha and says, I could see Narsimha masticating it in his mouth. All of us would have seen the picture. Very, very nice picture, a very unique picture where Mahasannidhanam, Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam talking to Narsimha and Narsimha talking to Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam and Mahasannidhanam showing his ears to it. It's real. When he initiates the second time, senior Acharya takes the hand out and starts to worship Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam because he does not find Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam, he finds Narasimha himself. And initiates the third time and completes it and says, hereafter Narasimha will be a friend, philosopher and guide and become a Karma Yogi. Third step, contemplation on the self. As you walk, imagine yourself to be part of this wave. As you sit, imagine to be a part of the penchant. As you sleep, think that you are lying on an ocean, you are dissolving yourself. At every point of time, you must only contemplate on the self. When Acharya returns from Sharada Kovil to Narasimhavana, 34th Acharya conducts a small test. What were you doing? I was crossing the Tunga. All right. What were you doing? I was crossing the Tunga. What did you do? Yeah, I watched the fish on the... Oh, I see. So you differentiated yourself from the fish. Don't do it again. Contemplation of self at what level? You must see, we must understand who are the acharyas which are blessing and guiding us. All this is being talked only to portray that features. So, from contemplation of self, then you move to the next plank of doing the Savikalpa Samadhi meditation. In fact, he says deep meditation. He first trains deep meditation in divine forms and gives out the advantages of deep meditation. You will lose the sense of your body only then. Deep meditation leads to losing our own bondage to the body. You will get unlimited grace only when you do deep meditation on divine forms. And you will slowly become a witness to your own thoughts. And once you become a witness, you will stop fueling your thoughts. There will be a disengagement, and therefore thoughts will slowly die out of you. Deep meditation leads to these benefits. It's completely practical, not textbook. So teaches Savikalpa Samadhi in divine forms. Then Savikalpa Samadhi in the formless. Then Kundalini Yoga. Kundalini Yoga is taught by Mata Sharada. Occurs in his dream, brings Acharya to the sanctum sanctorum, makes her lie on her lap, allows a young brahmachari to sprout out of her, teaches what are all the triggering points in Kundalini Yoga. And Acharya says, you should read, all this is compressed in 10 minutes. You should read it line by line. Acharya says, my body became transparent. I could see myself. I could see the back of myself. I could see each of the nadis. Sudha Sharabi Varshini. I could see Mata Sharada sitting on my set, outpouring the nectar. How cool it is, how tasty it is. Everything is narrated. Everything is narrated. So the Anubhava of Kundalini, and see, this is a beautiful, one beautiful perspective brought in that book is, the 34th Acharya says to the 35th Acharya, Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam, this is how Mata taught my Guru, Jagadguru Srimad Sachidananda Shibhabhinama Smartigal. This is how Mata taught our 32nd Acharya, Jagadguru Vidyanarasimha Bharati Mahaswamigal, and he leaves himself out deliberately. And Sri Umeshji writes, just to see, nobody, see the humility an Acharya carries. He didn't want to say, I also got the same experience. So he leaves him out. But Umeshji did not want to leave him out. So he goes in searches of the poems composed by Jagadguru Srimad Chandrasekhar Bharati Mahaswamigal and Mata Sharada. And in one of the stutis, Acharya prays, thanking Mata for initiating him in Kundalini Yoga. And he fills it up. Every Acharya of this Peetam has got that experience of Kundalini Yoga through Mata Sharada. That's the proof. And goes to the formless meditation of Savikalpa. How from form to Shiva, Narasimha, Bala Tripura Sundari, Sharada, Krishna. He meditates on 4 forms of Krishna and gets a doubt. Is this hallucination? Senior Acharya laughs. He says, go and perform your Anika. Calls Sesipandi, sends a book, flagged, Vishnu Purana. And when Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam opens, he sees the portrayal of the same 4 forms in succession, which is the experience he has gained of praying to Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Everything is there in that book. So, finally, on 12th December 1935, he goes to the Kala Bhairava temple at 4:30, sits and attains Nivikalpa Samadhi in just no time. See, the distinction between Savikalpa and Nilvikalpa is, in Savikalpa Samadhi, you will still feel the distinction between the knower, the known, and the process of knowing. In fact, Acharya says, I enjoy doing that meditation. So that enjoyment is still making them three distinct components. A Nirvikalpa Samadhi destroys that, bundles it out, extinguishes it out, and says, finally, when he attains the blissful state of Jivan Mukta, he says, it's like salt dissolving in water. What can you retrieve after that? It's gone. You see yourself as only bliss, and you see all around yourself as only bliss, and nothing else to see. It is this state he attained on 12th December 1935. And the book says he was, two birds were sitting on his shoulders. A monkey was playing on him. In fact, in one of his meditation, a snake was around his neck and coursing him so beautifully over his cheeks. In fact, the senior Acharya said, oh, you are today a Bhujanga Bhushana? That he sits in Narasimhavana and the junior Acharya sits elsewhere and says, you are a Bhujanga. So friend and foe is not only cobra and frog is not just 1200 years of fiction or history. It's a reality then, and the reality will continue as long as one who practices ahimsa and a Mahapurusha, he will not see friend, no distinction between a friend and a foe in this Peetham. That's why they are not reactive to many people, many senseless things. They can't react, they don't want to react. Simple. So, when this, and he says, he became a weightless cotton wool. That was how he was. His state was that. And he walked like a canoe. Canoe is weightless ship. As he walked towards Narasimhavana, senior Acharya waits at the entrance of Narasimhavana to receive his Sishya Swamigal. He embraces him. Outpour comes. Gaudaparikarika from Bhagavad Gita, from Mundaka Upanishad, several texts apologizing a Brahmagyani, what a Brahmagyani is all about. And 3 days later, Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam went into a deep meditation in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. After a while, he realized that somebody is patting him on his shoulders. He woke up and saw Jagadguru Srimad Chandrasekhar Bharati Mahaswamigal sitting by his side. He rose up and fell at his feet. And this is what Acharya conveyed. Bhagavan Shiva prompted me to wake you up now. And if you don't wake up now, Bhagavan Shiva uttered a caution. He will go into an irretrievable state of tapas and remain in this state till he dismantles his mortal coil. So go and retrieve him. And said, please don't leave me. Don't leave this Peetham. Don't leave this Sishyas. Regulate your Samadhi henceforth. It's a promise you have to give it to me. And 55 years he held that promise. It is this Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam who has given to us Shri Mahasannidhanam. And let's continue tomorrow with the Divya Jananam of Shri Mahasannidhanam. Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmat Acharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parampara. Thank you so much.
Same timing, 4 to 6. Thank you.
कर्मणा न प्रजया धनेन त्यागे नैके अमृतत्वमानसो